Hello folks, and welcome back to Master Better Fishing Tutorials. What we're going to do today is we're going to tie a UV Gold Humongous using this UV Gold Humongous Straggle from Blob and Buzzer. The stuff's fantastic. Okay, so what you're going to need is a packet of that. You're going to need some gold chain bead eyes. You're going to need some black 80, 60 thread, whatever suits you best. You're going to need some super glue. You're going to need some gold tinsel, just on the hand there, and you're also going to need some black marabou. Again, this marabou I've got today is from Blob and Buzzer. So the hook I've got in the vise today is a size 8 lure hook. Brilliant versatile hook. It's got a lot of strength in it and mega sharp. Good for building your lures on. They won't fit the competition gauge, but they are very good. So I'm going to start by putting a little layer of thread, maybe about 10mm back. And all that is because the first thing I'm going to do is tie in my chain bead eyes. So I'm just going to lay these on top and then put 2 or 3 wraps over and then come over, and you're almost figure of 8 in this. If you figure of 8 it, you can keep it straight. Okay? And you want to tie these in just above the eyes. Now, with chain bead, when you're actually tying the chain bead on, if you tie it underneath the hook, as in this part, up the way, the hook will swim as in the position it's in at the minute. Now that I've put the eyes on here, the hook's going to swim upside down. So we've got to be mindful of that when we're actually tying the fly in. Okay, because what the Humongous is there to kind of imitate is a fry. So it's a fry pattern. And then once I've got to the stage where I'm quite happy with the eyes on it, quite happy with the position, and they're relatively solid, I'm going to come in and do 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now what I've done there is I've just wrapped all the way round, and then I'm going to do 3 wraps over each way, and those eyes will never move. 1, 2, 3, so across, and I'm going to come around the back, and then we're going to go 1, 2 and missed that one there, 2 and 3. Okay, now these eyes are solid on. What I've done is the wraps that I've went round the eyes, I've then binding them in by going across it and pulled them in tight. Okay, so next up you're going to pop your marabou onto it. Now it's up to yourself whether you want a lot of marabou or a little bit. I like a decent amount, but not overpowering. So I'm just going to take about, there we go there, so it's about ½ inch worth of marabou. Pull it from the stem, and again what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chop the tails off, but I'm going to chop that off over my bin so I don't get it everywhere. I'm going to pick away the underfluff just to make it nice for tying in. So all I've done there is, like in the last video, I've pulled away the underfluff just so that you're actually tying in the stems. Okay? You're just going to place this on. Again, you really want this full length of the body, and you're just going to tie in all the way to the back of the hook. There we go there. We'll get to the stage here. So that is the tail tied in. Now it's up to yourself how big you want this tail. However, I'm going to pop in and rip it just there. That for me is long enough. Okay, I might want to trim it down a little bit, but if you are going to trim it down the way I tie it, you want to trim it down now, because I tie them in different sizes for my box, but I do one that's maybe about 1 inch. Just if they're nipping at the tail, I can change it and pop this on. The problem is you're away to put tinsel on the top and cut the tinsel, so the tinsel will need to be cut. It's not like you can just pull the tinsel. It makes for a lot neater fly. Okay, however, I'm going to go with this. It's about 1.5 inches long, and there we go. So the next step is, like I said, to put the tinsel in. So I'm going to take 3 strands of tinsel. I'm just going to cut that off, and all I'm going to do is tie this on top of the fly, catch it in there. I pull it back over, and all I've done there, I'm putting 6 strands of tinsel all the way to the back of the fly. Now, remember what I was saying about the orientation of the chain bead eyes? So the chain bead eyes are going to make this fly swim upside down, okay? If you were tying the chain bead eyes on the bottom, you want this gold on the bottom, coming out from the bottom of the hook. And you're just going to come in with your scissors at the back there, and you're just going to trim the same length as the marabou. Okay? There we go there. So that's all in there. Now, the reason is it's a fry pattern, so you want that gold to be on the bottom as if it's the underbelly of the fry that the fish is chasing. So if a fish looks up and sees it, which is obviously, I'll get onto this later, but when the fish looks up, it's got a better strike zone because the eyes can turn into binocular vision. So the eyes are on the side of its head. If it's looking up the way, it's got binocular vision. If it's looking down the way, it's harder for it to look in binocular vision. It has to bend its body, whereas it can twist its eyes up to look at a fly. Okay, so you kind of want this to be above the fish so it can come up and strike it. Pretty simple, but that's that done. Okay, what I'll do now, which I should have done at the very start, is pop a little bit of super glue in between the eyes and just allow it to soak in. You do that right at the start and let that go. I completely forgot all about that. So I'm then going to take my this amazing humongous straggle. There we go, and I'm going to find the natural weave of it, so it'll bend back in a natural way. Okay, so this way it's going that way, so I'll start at the other end. And very simply, you don't need to palm any hackle with this fly. You're just tying it in, again near enough the full length of the body. I like to leave a wee bit of there just for when I tie in the end, and this doesn't have to be neat because you're about to wrap over the top of it, so it's just to hide that there. You're then going to wrap, and you're going to make sure with this stuff that you pull away almost as if you're doing a fab or a blob. You're just basically pulling the fritz back just so it all sits in the orientation you want it. Come up and make sure it's touching turns all the way to the back. Now it'll look like it's not building the body up initially, but again keep pulling this all back and you'll see that with every wrap you start to get a more fuller body and it'll all start to blend in. There we go. Again, keep all these fibres back. If you do this at the very start, when it comes to finishing off the head, all the fibres will naturally be pointing backwards anyway. You'll see it's starting to build up a body now, and you're just making sure you're covering everything. There we go. And you're going to do maybe a couple of wraps at the front just to build it up because you've left that wee bit of space up there. And then I'm going to put this last wrap here. Again, make sure everything's teasing back. And then I'm going to come in and secure that in. So 1, 2 and 3. And then I'm going to turn this out the way and pull it back. So I'm not bothering about cutting this material yet. I'm then going to come over the top of it and just build it in a little bit just so it's a nice neat head. So what you're trying to do is you build a black thread head on this. You're not actually trying to build this right up to the head, okay? And I'm just going to take that away. Nice sharp pair of scissors does that. And this will leave you for a much neater fly, okay? So 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to come over again. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the reason I've done it like that is because I don't want a lot of bulk in the head. I want it to be there, but I don't want it to be a lot of bulk. So I can finish this off. I'm just going to finish this off in the back. Whip finish off. Pull it down to bind it. And then trim away your waste piece. And that is basically my humongous, my gold humongous. Like I say, I catch brownies that are near enough the same size as that on that. They go mad for it. all you're going to do now is then come in with your Sally Hansen's, I like on the head for this, and you're just going to pop this on and make sure you cover the whole thing. Now you can go mad with this. I like to put about maybe 6 layers on and underneath as well, and it just makes for a neater fly. Also less likely to get chewed up as well with the more coats on the Sally Hansen's. There we go. Let that soak in, put that to the side, and like I say, give it another 3 or 4 coats on top of that. Like I say, I've got this figure in my head 6. I like it because once you put the 6th coat on, it gives you this real sleek, kind of shiny head on it. And basically, that is it, ready to fish. A fantastic fly. Rainbows love it. Fish it on an intermediate, fish it on the dye 3, dye 6, you can fish it on a floating line and the sink tip. Absolutely any methods you want. If the fish are feeding on a fry and they come up to the top, then I would change from this to the floating line with my master bait or fishing floating fry, and I would fish that on the top. Basically they're there to mimic the same fry type thing in the water. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, subscribe, and we'll see you in my future tutorials. Thank you for watching.